Welcome to the HITB Amsterdam conference at the Hackspo stage. My name is Benjamin Kunz from Germany in Hessen-Kassel. And today I would like to talk about a new project that we would like to announce in a partnership between the HITB, another external platform, and our own platform, which we call V1 Bounty. But first, let me start who we are. I'm Benjamin Myrie. My company name is Evolution Security. We are doing penetration tests on different kind of infrastructures for web security, for software security. We are penetrating networks and things like this. Let me say something about the Vulnerability Lab in 2005. In 2005, we started the first community about bug bounties. It was the first registered and official the first official registered company in Germany having a bug bounty model all over in Europe. We checked that. So in 2005, we started bringing the people together in the Vulnerability Lab community, which is mainly independent. So we didn't have any commercial models behind or any influences from third parties or something like this. So we mostly did it the independent way. So the Vulnerability Lab is known for discovering new zero-day vulnerabilities in different kind of applications. We also listing the vulnerabilities the independent way, like if an independent researcher identifies a threat, we can list the threat later on our website explaining the technique that is behind the bug bounty that has been shot by the researcher. After we established in 2005 the Vulnerability Lab, for over 10 years, we was participating in this program and forwarding the independent market. Actually, after we started up the independent market on bug bounties, a lot of communities popped up using different kind of commercial models to forward their own community, let's say. After we have seen that this sector has been commercialized, we started up building a new platform that is called V1 Bug Bounty Platform. The V1 Bug Bounty Platform is programmed with the Ember framework, which is a pretty new technology, and it is free available to download. What do we offer at our service, our platform? We offer bug bounties and responsible disclosure in the main business, but it's not limited to. We will come later to some other possibilities on the models that we have to arrange new bug bounty programs with manufacturers. We have another ability. We have not produced only an online application like the most have. We have silently produced within 10 to 11, 12 months a new full application, self-coded without any third-party influence or preparatory software. We have an online and an offline mode. That means we are very sophisticated to start up such a service at an event, for example. Then we was looking for some good partners that we can work together. And actually, with the HITB for over 10 years. So we decided to ask Dylan about if it is useful for the community that we found our own platform. So Dylan decided to be the new technology sponsor for the platform, and we gave the brand to the HITB. So means today is the born of a new platform, which is HITB hosted. In the second instance, we was watching for a kind of partner, which is from the international sector. We was looking to the left side in the Western world, to the other communities, which was well known in the press. But then we referred over to the Asian sector because this is a pretty new sector where new models getting established, where new companies are popping up, where new products are being provided. And that's why we choose from the 360 company, the Butian platform. Butian is owning about 70 to 80% of the Chinese markets in bug bounties. When we started our platform by disclosing the vulnerabilities, we took about 20 to 30% of the actual market in Europe because we did it independently and not had a commercial business behind, which was forwarding the lab itself because it was totally self-developed and programmed and managed by our own. So finally, we had the new platform, we had our models, we had decided that we made it online and offline mode for the events and for people to participate over the remote. And then we decided to take in some valuable partners for us. So why did we build our own bug bounty platform? And this is a pretty interesting topic because I'm a very common bug bounty hunter, and I was in so much programs, my researchers and I myself participated, that we have a lot of experience around what problems could pop up, what issues are related to any problems. And this is why we try to explain why we built our vulnerability lab. There are needs and there are problems. The European Union has started up a new budget for bug bounties from the EU Commission, which is actually forwarding platforms like us, or want to forward platforms like us, which is actually starting, which is the third EU responsible disclosure program. And after they established the program, they started up giving budget for the European companies to start up bug bounty programs on open source products. This is already set in the European Commission law. It's already written down on their webpage. So they are still watching for solutions, how they can manage their security by receiving new bug bounties or responsible disclosure issues. So at this point, we was talking about the needs of the EU Commission, and we was watching around. Is there any platform that is, for example, GDPR conform and DSGVO, so the Data Security Protection Regulations? And the most platforms are not conform with these regulations. And that was a quick point why the European Commission didn't jump into and directly forwarded the platforms that was still built by yet. So we was talking to the EU Commission about some months ago and was asking them about their needs, about what they want to provide, what programs they want to provide, how much they want to pay, how the products are being chosen by the companies itself. And finally, we are actually in progress for a larger corporation that the EU Commission is including their European bug bounty programs into our platform. And following by the needs we have as well problems. We have problems like incomplete rule sets in programs, like incomplete conditions or wrong conditions. I very often participate in programs where the rules are not fully, completely written down, or somebody has not mentioned the conditions in any way. He just wrote it down by any template or something like this. And this is a very big problem, because when we watch out in the bug bounty platforms, we see very often that they have the same kind of template and saying, we don't want this, that. And then they have a statistic, which is stats, which are showing them which is excluded from the scope. The third problem is the platforms are charging too much money from the researchers. That means the most platforms, and I'm talking actually about the Western world, it is like the company is coming to the platform, paying already a big amount that the program is being hosted and listed and supported. But finally, every researcher that is submitting a vulnerability, they take a specific percentage of his vulnerability. And we wasn't conform with these amount, which is taken from the researcher, because the company's still paying for the programs. And if the company is still paying for the programs, there is no reason for you to take the money of the researchers, because we started the business to bring the money back to the researchers, so it's not fair to charge the money out of the pocket. Then we was watching around and has seen non-serious firms, fraud, money laundering. We have seen a lot of companies doing Bitcoin things, doing erotic stuff, doing things which are mostly not in our business. The model of bug bounty is not supposed to be there for small startups or something like this, or for cryptocurrencies or something like this. A lot of these companies are just starting a bug bounty program to launder money, to don't pay money, to don't pay taxes. And that's why they come into the platform. The platform is not responsible for the people don't paying tax, but it's as well forwarding this. So it's a problem. Then we have incorrect or fake public statistics. We have logged into a lot of different kind of platforms and have watched around what we did in the last years, was looking how the percentiles and how the rankings and how other things was calculated. And we was pretty fast, obviously seeing that there is a lot of data just with wrong statements taken together. So it's not giving you the real stats. If it's, for example, the percentile of reporting vulnerabilities or amount of submitted vulnerabilities, it's very often that these statistics are hiding up these issues to ensure that the people see it and say, oh, there are so much reported vulnerabilities, I just jump into the program and participate on it. Then we have personal deals and personal enrichment. For example, we had a very good example with a platform, I will not say the name. They had a program, the program had started up a bug bounty program and set up ads for the registration of the researchers. That means each time, first the company is giving money to the platform is starting the program, the program owner is adding an ad into the registration link for the platform where you can get the test accounts, and finally this is making him rich. So he has at several points include ads and anything to receive money in the moment when you're just watching the program. And we think this is definitely not fair to the business and also not fair to the scene, and we should do something against that. Then we have insecure mechanisms, third-party dependencies, and broken models. I can say something about insecure mechanisms. We have seen a lot of ticket systems, I say, which have an API which is phoning to the home company. We have seen a lot of insecure program mechanisms where data is not encrypted, transferred through the layer. We have seen a lot of platforms where application plugins from third party are included, which are not approved and not secure and mostly easily breakable. Then we have seen broken models. Broken models is mostly, you can mostly see them in platforms which are actually starting up. So they don't have their full models developed. So you come in there and they just invite you and you see the rules and just participate, and later you see the model of how they handle the bug bounty program is finally broke at this point. Yeah, then we have, at least for the researchers, a lot of miscommunication and lack of responsibility. Miscommunication in case of a lot of supporters that are set up by the platforms, which are security workers, for example, or managers, are miscommunicating by telling the researcher, for example, that the vulnerability is not valid, or that the vulnerability has not a high severity, for example. And this is a problem in the communication, because if you have a high and critical vulnerability and report it to a bug bounty program and they say you don't have, and you even ensure it by talking to other people and making analysis, then this is a big problem, because you will not receive your reward with the specific amount that you should get finally. And the same is lack on responsibilities. Sometimes we had programs where they just put in the program for the benefit to see it from outside. But finally, when you went inside the program reporting a bug, it takes over one and a half year until somebody is responding. Or sometimes the program is still empty. So when we watch to some of these programs, a lot of these companies are startup companies from Silicon Valley, for example, that are fast shots from the street around where your company is located. Okay, let's say about the scores, recognizing the real root needs. What do we want? We want that researchers getting paid very well. We want that the platform has accurate conditions. We want to have a trusted and reliable community which is keeping the word that they give out to other people. And for sure, you as well need to score in that platform, and the researchers need to score. Otherwise, it's not that easily possible that you come into this market. For us, it's not that hard, because we had already from 2005 to 2019 now our first bug bounty platform. So we have a large community that we will forward into this platform. Then we have as well talked to Dylan, and will also invite all the people here at the conference at the different locations in Dubai and in Amsterdam to our platform to participate as well. So after we had enough of all this bullshit, we started up building our platform. So let me first shortly introduce how it's looked like. This is our basic banner. What we do is you find a bug, you file a bug, you document the bug, you report it, it's getting verified, then you receive an acknowledgement or you receive your bug bounty. So it's pretty simply directly shown on the website. We have a cool EU banner on the top. We are still with the JRC and the EU Commission in conversation about the new cooperation that should start up within the next half year. And we hope that the EU programs will all be visible in our platform. Well, it doesn't mean the programs of the EU are just limited to our platform, but we hope that they will be that exclusive because we took over 12 months to program that. So what do we have? We have a basic navigation with our business, with our services. We're showing some researchers' credits. We explaining who is behind our company. And we have an activity meter that we developed in 2006 in the Vulnerability Lab, which is actually a standard for different kind of bug bounty platforms. Then we have a small tab where we can choose the bug bounty programs or the security contact pages. I will later explain a bit more about the different models that we provide. I will just show you first time the initial page that we actually started. The page is still available under v1bounty.com or v1bounty.de. We're actually setting up a smaller domain that should be easier accessible for the future. Yeah, the second part on the bottom of the page, our partners. We included our partners. They will follow more. We will include some institutions because we already talked to universities and to military institutions in Germany to ask them, help us with the study. Because when we begin with our platform, we don't want to do it the wrong way. We want to directly give out our statistics, not the vulnerabilities, only the counting statistics like how much researchers from Germany, how much researchers from Europe, how much international researchers are participating, how much vulnerabilities are being submitted, but not the content of the vulnerabilities directly. So that means that we later have the HITB, where we show our online and our offline platform to the people. People can participate in contests. We are actually planning for the Dubai Pawn to Drive that we set up our application the first initial time. This will be the application where the people later reporting the vulnerabilities. What do we have? We have a small footer navigation where we put all our contents inside, like the direct links. We have an XMPP channel, which is pretty useful on Java CCC. We have different kind of statements, which is transparently shown to the people, so you can directly click them, read the information, or forward them to other persons in your space. On the bottom, we have the social networks. We have languages included. The languages are included over YAML files. The YAML files are actually being produced in English and in German. So we're covering still the English and the German language through the cooperation with Bütian from 360 Enterprise, which is owning 80% of the market. We're getting the translation for the Chinese. So that means the partnership between Bütian and our platform works the following way. Chinese people don't want that foreign agent people touch their vulnerabilities. We are thinking the same way. So what did we do? We gone to a very big platform, which is owning a large part of the market, and say we do exchange our programs, about 10 programs at the first step. We bring 10 bug bounty programs from our platform into your network, so the German researchers can report issues on Chinese products and Chinese managers can resolve them. And the same is going reverse on the German platform. So the Bütian team is setting us up some managers, which we put in there. Then we're listing the programs, and European researchers can the first time participate in Chinese programs. We was already talking to Bütian and also to parts of the government to ensure that this is allowed and accepted. And finally, we got the confirmed by 360 Enterprise after they made all their conferences with the foreign government. So far to our first initial view to the platform. Let's go to more into the functions and models. What do we provide? We provide in the first instance basic programs, which are not that unique because you still know them from other platforms. We have one time the bug bounty programs, which is commercial on rewards, means somebody's reporting a vulnerability and is receiving money or is receiving any special benefit, which is not swag. Then we have responsible disclosure programs, which is with basic acknowledgement, Hall of Fames, and also leaderboards and things like this. The acknowledgement is totally uncommercial. You just receive some swag. You just receive some acknowledgement. We have different leaderboards and different Hall of Fames, for example. We have them in the program itself, but we have them on the platform when, for example, a researcher is scoring the most points in a specific bug bounty program, he can come into the leaderboard like we know it from other platforms where people doing submissions, for example. Then we have developed a full new concept. Let's say a company don't want to start the bug bounty program or just want to see initial how this is working. So we made our own concept, was discussing a lot about how we can resolve this problem. So we started up a security contact, a company security contact page. That means a company that don't wants to start a responsible disclosure program or a bug bounty program to receive vulnerabilities can start up showing a security page where information is inside about incidents, leaks, data, compromises. Let's say the German bank wants a security contact page. They just write on it, hey, this is our AGBs, this is what we're watching for, not about vulnerabilities, mostly about incidents and things like this. So let's say the German bank is watching for malware-infected servers in their network or anywhere on the world, and you can find something of this and they have it in the rules. You can directly report the incident and get the kudos for it. So this is a finally new model that we want, that we are actually providing now for incidents for all the companies. So if a company is not sure about starting a bug bounty or responsible disclosure program, they can start up using the program for 3 months, the bug bounty or responsible disclosure, or they can decide to slowly start up with the security contact page. After the security contact page is started on the platform, researchers can go there, can register, can report incidents to the company. So the company is directly getting information which is very valuable. Then we have different models from the bug bounty and responsible disclosure. We said we have hosting. Yeah? Basic hosting, somebody's coming to our platform, wants just to start up a program, don't want support, assistance, or help with the rules or something like this. So we say, okay, it's just hosting, and you can put in your program, and it's your own responsibility to manage the program as well. So after we have the basic hosting program, we as well need a bit support. There are companies which don't know how to resolve tickets and how to answer them. And therefore, we set up from our platform security managers, which they can book as support into their programs. So our security managers from the third team, worst team, will help the program owner to identify the threats, to coordinate the vulnerability, maybe to provide a solution depending on the process. Yeah? And that's a very good help for companies which don't want to start by hosting only, and as well not going into the full program by let us managing everything. So we see we have in the third instance, for example, we have the hosting, which is the hosting of the platform. Then we have the support, which is adding the security managers. And finally, we have the leadership, which means that we as well managing the program. So it means if your company don't know how to set up rules, how to explain them, then we will model these rules for your program with a confirm of the company to ensure everything is policy conform. So these are the 3 basic models that we have. Let me say something to this one because I missed that a bit. The data security programs will be added to our platform and further. That means when we do bug bounties about security problems, we can as well do that with data security problems. So for example, we are actually producing a new model, which is maybe at the end of the year available. We don't know because it has something to deal with the development and periods of time we have. So let's say a company like Twitter has 50 documents about their policies, about their rules, about any SRLs, TOMs, whatever, yeah? And they want the documents to be checked. So how do they do that? They just pay money and get a lawyer or a notary, and he's checking the documents. And when the documents are finally checked, they will be confirmed and they're going up. If there is a mistake inside, you don't know because you just set up one person to check it out. Even if you do it with more people, you can't ensure that there is not a mistake inside because the biggest companies are doing mistakes in their policies, in their impressums, in their AGBs, whatever. So we said, how can we manage this? We allow the companies to start up a data security program. The companies can upload their documents in the data security program, and we are setting up data protection security managers, which are going inside the program, can read these documents and can send the issues that they identify in the documents directly into the system to the company. So the company can see we have a problem here in this document, we have a problem there in the document. So the data protection manager that is reporting the thing is doing the same way like a bug bounty hunter. He's getting kudos for what he has identified, and there is a specific amount or a specific acknowledgement behind that. So these are the basic models that we're actually focusing on. Then let me shortly show something about the website, about the transparency. When you go, for example, to the company services, you will directly see we have here a benefit program, which is the bug bounty program shortly explained. Then you can click here, you directly come into the listing of the bug bounty programs, or you go over here where the concept of the program is transparently downloadable in a PDF file. So the person that participates, that sees the program, whatever, it's a company or it's a research, it doesn't matter. They just can read the model transparent. And this is something which is very important for our platform, because we said when we start up this big round, we want it transparently and all the time. And everybody can ask for anything he wants to know, expect it's something sensitive. Okay, so let me say something to the researcher services. A good platform is just a good platform if you have some sub-services. What did we do? We added a magazine from our vulnerability lab, which is 24 hours talking about security vulnerabilities that was identified by the community. That means in the magazine, you don't see public news about people who hacked into stuff or cracked things up. You just read about the vulnerability that are coming from the V1 bug bounty platform. That means if a company is allowing us to publish this content, then we are allowed to talk about it. When we are allowed to talk about it, we will set up an article for the magazine to educate other people reading this magazine article about the technique which is behind, about maybe conditions which are required and other things. Showing screenshots, showing POCs, showing maybe some source codes and examples. Yeah. Then we said, how can we bring the people together, talking to each other? Yeah? We said we set up a forum from World Lab Burning Board where we have actually a license because we are in connection to them. These forum can be accessed by anybody, by the companies, by the researchers, and by the managers of the platform. So the people can independently talk to each other, can exchange topics, and securely exchange the topics for sure. Then we have in the third point a pastebin service, or online pastebin service, where you can put in any data. The data will be encrypted in the browser with AES, and then you can send the link to anybody else. You have a burn after read function. You have a timeline to run down. And this is an important point, because when somebody has this pastebin service and has the platform, he can maybe say, okay, we have a specific key where we are actually talking about something, and then he needs to drop the content directly in the ticket information. He also can pass his content directly to a researcher or to a company to say something. Then we have the independent laboratory, which is just showing later which is available on the vulnerability-lab.com. This independent lab will be directly connected to the V1 platform to ensure that the vulnerabilities which are being produced in the V1 platform could be shown finally later. Because the V1 platform is only for the coordination and the tracking and the disclosure of the issue, but finally the big disclosure of the data of the advisory is following up after the process is done with the lab. Then we have the international bug bounty listing showing all the international programs, and we have a 3D printer security archive, which we show to trusted security researchers, and they can upload their 3D prints into our archive and can exchange them with other people. We have some regulations on these programs because there are some things you should not print, but yeah. Shortly to the magazine, you can see on the top left, there is the magazine with some of the articles. Then you see here on the right side, our forum. Here's a part of our list. And here you can see shortly the official pastebin service. So let's shortly talk about the regulations. We have different kind of regulations in our platform and restrictions and needs. We have the DSGVO. Our platform is fully conformed with the DSGVO. We're covering all the rules. We have a high encryption. We are watching for communication encryption. So it means we are a step above the most platforms which are not doing this or couldn't recognize it on the startup because they are just built. Then we have different kind of policies that we follow. The Bundesamt, the BSI is from Germany. It's an instance which are explaining standards, giving rules, giving intentions, what you can do and how you can handle things. And we following them from the first quarter 2009 when the platform was still started in the background in the network. So that means that we are recognizing the government as well. In the next step, we have the NIST, National Institute of Standards and Technologies. The National Institute of Standards and Technologies will be taken as for the consideration. That means we are all the time watching if new things are popping up, if new topics in this, if new models come up, maybe in the bug bounty business, then the first people that are talking about it and try to establish is the NIST from the USA. Another thing is we have Sense Institute, top vulnerabilities. That means we are gone to the Sense Institute and to other parties and watched for the top vulnerabilities in the business. And we take every quarter, we take a list which is being updated all the quarter or half time a year. And we putting them into the researcher report so the researchers can choose from the Sun's top vulnerabilities and can directly include them. So there is no definition problem about if a researcher, for example, is wrong declaring a vulnerability. Then we have norms and standards, physical data encryption. Yeah, that's for sure. If we have a data encryption, means, for example, we are encrypting the content in the database. But in the next slide, we will go into this a bit deeper because I don't want to explain it yet. Then we have the data transmit encryption, which is, for example, SSL and TSL, basic encryption, which the most platforms have. Here's a small screenshot from our legal audience from the EU, which is directly visible on the website. So all the documents you can download as PDF file, but you can also click them directly and open them for the printer or get them for the email. So you can send them directly to your friends and they can watch into the documents and maybe give feedback or recommend them. So let's talk about the encryption of the platform. Yeah, we have one time the AES encryption, 256-bit. From our MySQL database, that's the MySQL AES encrypt and decrypt function, which we are using to fully encrypt the database content. That means not only the hashing of the passwords, we are also encrypting the first name, the last name, all the user profile values, because we didn't expect mercy. Because if it's full encrypted, then you don't have any problems, and we was talking about that and making decisions and asking ourselves, it is more secure if you just hash some specific values or if you say the full ticket communication needs to be encrypted. That means not only the user profile values are encrypted, also the data that is being shown in the tickets with the ticket communication. Means if somebody is getting, for example, vulnerability, and which allows them to access this data. It's high encrypted, and he cannot decrypt the data without having the master key, which is pretty secure, stored in our local environment. Then we have the SSL and TLS for the data transmit, means we have SSL certificates, we have wildcard settings and all the things which just basically protection the communication in the browser for the application on login, on log off, on transmit, and so on. Then we have RSA 2048-bit encryption for the storage of the data. We have storages and server systems where we put into our backups, put into our logs and things like this, and they are high encrypted with different keys. So it means every backup is getting a new key, and it should not be easily for somebody to get this data, even if he steals a kind of hard drive or comes to physical access on the computer system with a compromising attack or something like this. Another information about the security is, where are we hosted? We are hosted in the middle of Germany in one of the best RSETs in Germany, which is from Strado. It's located in Frankfurt. It's the RSET 1. And we are using just dedicated systems. We're whether using cloud, we're whether using web space, VPS or something like this. We just have a basic dedicated system which is shut down, which is a closed system. Not shut down, it's a closed system. Then we have no insecure copy test systems or cloud, which are actually set. So there is no problem for us anymore to resolve these needs of the data protection. So let's talk about some basic functionalities we have inside. We have, like a lot of platforms, we have the first calculator. You have two abilities to include it. You have one time the ability to embed it just from the website of first, or you have the ability to take it with the full script and application into your service. So what did we do? We made the full integration of the CVS calculator into the application. So every researcher that is reporting a bug can choose from these CVS calculator the different kind of values, and finally this makes the severity and the criticality, the severity and the risk of the vulnerability. Then we have an event notification system, which is 24/7 when events are happening, reporting the companies what's going on in the program, but as well reporting the researcher. There's a new program. You are invited to a new program. Here's the new rule. This has been updated. Things like this are in the notification system. Then we have the notification system is set up like a kind of inbox. So you're getting your messages easily and can just click them, accept them, or deny them. Then we have update history for programs to ensure that the rules are getting kept and the right way kept. Means, for example, when a researcher is participating in a program, he can directly see if a company is changing the input of a value, whether the value is the content rules, the scope, or whatever, it will be shown in the update history. So the person can go through and see when the rule has been changed or when the rule has been, become inaccurate at some way. Then we have a ranking and a voting system. The ranking system is built like, we have a leaderboard, we have Hall of Fames, which are getting by counts by CVS. And then we have a voting system when somebody is reporting a vulnerability, and only when he's reporting a vulnerability, he can vote in a positive or in a negative way. If he's voting in a negative way, he can as well leave a comment. This comment is not seen by the company, that's initially seen by the platform owners. So we see if there is a problem occurring in a program and can directly move into to do something. Then we have an explicit permission management. That means we have different kind of roles. We have from one of our developers has programmed a full permission management, which allows you to set up different rules and then set up the researchers in the different program. And then you can set security workers and security managers inside of the program to give you some assistance to resolve the vulnerabilities. Then we have a trusted payment process to verify. Actually, I will come in the next slide on this topic because there is a lot about the payment which is very interesting. Then we have the acknowledgement and reward pages, which means every researcher that reports a valid bug is getting an acknowledgement. If he's not getting an acknowledgement, he's coming on a reward page. If he's on the acknowledgement page and is scoring more than other people's do, he can come to the leaderboard and things like this. And finally, we have at the end some badges. That means if I participate in a program and I'm the most submitter of vulnerabilities in a program with the high score, I can get, for example, a badge. So there are different kind of events which can be triggered to get different kind of badges. Actually, we have about 13 different badges and it's getting expanded to 21 or 23. So far to this. So now let's have a look into our new program engine. What have we done? We have one time here the policy, which is showing here in every separate input field. We have pretty cool description, have it in German, have it in English. It's all self-coded. It's not a template which has already been produced somehow. Then we have the activity where you can see what submissions has been submitted in a program. So if you click on the activity as company or as researcher, you directly see what was the last submissions. Depending on if the vulnerability is public or private, it will be censored. The title will be censored, or maybe the amount of the vulnerability that he received will be censored to ensure we're keeping the rules. Because the company has ever the right to decide if a program is going public or if a program is being private. And the company is the final decider if a vulnerability is getting public. Even if the researcher wants maybe his article to be published, we have to keep the rules of the company because otherwise the system is not working. Then we have updates, which I already said on the last slides. Every time you're changing any of these inputs, you can click on this and get a timestamp, get all the inputs that has been changed. So you see accurate what has been happened in the program and when it has been changed. Then we have here different kind of statistics about the responsibility time of vulnerabilities. It's a time thing here on this block. And above we have the minimum bounty, maximum bounty, total resolved bugs, which you see. And we have the start and the end date directly on front of the page for the people. Then we have here some small statistic, total bounties, average bounty, and best bounty, which are shown, for example, in euro counts. All in the platform is only done by euros. We don't using dollars, we don't using yen, we're just doing euros. And then you have the ability to disable the program or to set the program to private or public easily. This is from the perspective of a company when they are setting up their rules and initially first time watching into the program. The same with responsible disclosure, like you can see, we have with security contact pages, and that's the difference. The responsible disclosure and the bug bounty programs have the same inputs. The security contact page is totally different because the company is giving a description saying what is security relevance is malware infections, for example. If I, as researcher, now know about a server from, let's say, the German bank, which has been compromised, and I just know about it. However, I know about it. I just can report it to the program, and then they are tracking down the incident, and then it's on you what the company gives you for that report as exchange. There is no count for these incidents for security reason. There is no tracking directly of the vulnerabilities, so you immediately report it over the contact to the company. So it's even not saved in our platform. Yeah, you see here the banner, the social networks, the logo with the domain. Here, where it's white, you actually have the ability to load your own banner of your company. So it's pretty cool to customize for your company and represent it on the platform. Okay, shortly, what do we have as characteristics which others don't have actually? Because this is a very important slide. We are conformed to the DSGVO EU. At the actual state, not much of the public platforms are actually conform with that. From my perspective, as far as 0. Then we have the transparency. we transparently share our statistics, policies, we show our rules, we are actually showing the studies. There is a project from the Bundeswehr, this is called Code Project. We are actually, it's from the University of Munich. We are actually talking to them because we want to involve them tracking our statistics for an upcoming study within the next year. That means after we produced a lot of data, we want to hand the data out about the statistics to the government to work with that. Because if the government don't see what's really happening and they're just seeing programs which are prepared to show them what they want to see, then it's not that easy for them to make a decision. And that's why they don't jump into the business directly after they see that a lot of platforms popped up like some mushrooms. Then we have the company security contact pages. We was watching around on all the platforms, and no platform has actually this model developed, as well as the data protection programs, which is not actually included in our platform, which is coming far later. Then we have better financial conditions for the researchers. This is coming in the next slides. There I will explain why the researchers will receive more benefits than on other platforms. Then we have no proprietary software. Sorry for speaking that bad. Then we have online remote, which means we are able to host our platform remotely, like it's actually available on the v1bounty.com and .de. But for the events, let's say the Pawn to Drive in Dubai, which is actually planned for this year by Dylan, we need the system in offline mode. That means we can set it up in the LAN, and people can only participate in the network. So it means we still have our platform online for sure to keep the programs running, but we have the ability to just set it up for events. And this is something others as well don't have. They have their ticket system, they can set it up maybe, but there's all around licensing, around usage and data and so on. And that's a big problem for them to do it the same way, like processing it offline. Otherwise, we still had at our conferences offline platforms, which will be provided to us. Then we have the data security programs I was already talking about. And then we have the connection to the vulnerability lab, where the issues are being disclosed at the end. So let's talk about the cash outs, which is pretty important for the researchers and the companies. Yeah? We have developed a new model, and we discussed that a long time, how we can deal with researchers and bringing them the benefit back. So let's say, point one, I as researcher report a vulnerability to Twitter. I receive 5,000 euro from Twitter for this vulnerability. The most platforms are now charging one time from Twitter for the startup of the program, but as well charging 30 to 20% from the researcher from each bug he's being disclosing to the platform. What we actually want to do is, let's say I report a bug to Twitter. It's the first bug within 1 year. So we say 100 euro from the amount, the full 5,000 will be taken. So 4,900 goes to the researcher for the first submission, 100 euro getting taken and is going into the infrastructure back. All the further submissions by the researchers within 1 year are fully for free. So he's getting 100% of his cash out for that. And that's pretty awesome. Means that all further reports result in 100% cash out for 1 year. So when I report this bug, I have 1 year time to report as much vulnerabilities as I want. And I don't need to be scared about somebody taking from each of my bugs 20 to 30%, which is great for the researchers itself. Then we have for the companies, we have stable budget and programs. So they are not that flexible, like they can change it all the time. So it's a very stable setup budget in the program. Then we have a connection for disclosure to the vulnerability lab, means issues published and the company allows to publish it. So we stream it over as real advisory to the vulnerability lab, which is getting a good remake on design within the next months. Then we have a full control in the program about payments. That means we see who is paying, what is being paid for a program, how much percentage is charged, and also the researchers can ask for that, how much percentage is asked. That's what I said on the first 2 slides where we was talking about the transparency, that researchers can request on asking about how a program is structured. So, and that is mainly the most important slide, because this gives something back to the companies and it gives something back to the researchers. And when I watching out there and see I have spent so much, thousands of dollars paying these 20 to 30%, and it's actually getting now back to the researchers, I'm pretty happy about uncovering this by now. So the website is actually started online, so you can still visit it. We will include within the next weeks the first programs. So actually we are in the phase where all the researchers can register. We will make an announcement in China. We will make an announcement in Pristina. And we will also start up in a conference in Switzerland where we disclose this model. Today is the first time that we are talking about this. And I feel like some people will be shocked about that we're coming around with such a platform. If you have any questions, actually, feel free to ask. I'm actually here.
With the vulnerabilities shared with the partners.
Try again, please.
With the vulnerabilities shared with the partners, like with the Chinese partners.
You mean with the partners? If we share the vulnerabilities? Yeah. No, we don't, because Chinese people bring Chinese managers into our platform, so they just see the vulnerabilities which is responsible for their country, and reverse the same. So it means the Chinese people can test programs, can report it, but European or German managers will make that to ensure that we don't run into any troubles on both sides. Any other questions actually about maybe you? Okay. So thank you.